It's horrible. You just feel worthless. You shouldn't be here, you're just a waste of space. I spent most of the time sitting on the floor crying for no reason. Never opened the door to anyone. It's just not very nice. You feel lonely. I just didn't want to be here anymore.
One in 5 of us will, at some point in our lives, suffer from depression. It's one of the most common mental illnesses, and the severity can vary from person to person. For 52-year-old Englishman Alan Austin and his family, it hit hard.
He had a breakdown just like that. It just come out of nowhere, really. So he come home and we went to the doctors, and that was it. And it's just, he lost a lot of weight, so he's like skin and bones to what he was.
The main faults, and I still get them now, is ending it. That was the only way I could see out, getting out of this black hole I was in. There was no light at the end of the tunnel, it was bricked up.
In May 2010, Alan suffered a mental breakdown stemming from severe depression. The long-term effects led to panic attacks, anxiety, weight loss, and agoraphobia. Agoraphobia is a condition in which people avoid ordinary places and activities for fear of a panic attack. Many sufferers refuse to leave their house, and that was the case with Alan. Depression is something that's cast a long shadow over his life. In 1991, his brother committed suicide.
For 19 years I blamed myself for it because I was the last person to speak to him, and I thought it was something I said that made him do it. And I just thought, well, perhaps my brother had the right idea to not be here. But what stopped me was thinking of what my dad went through when my brother done it. And I couldn't put him through that. So I decided to seek help.
Following advice from his doctor, he sought help in an unlikely place. Walking football is a leisurely form of the beautiful game, and it opened up a whole new world for Alan.
But it's getting me out meeting people again, where I've been shut off for 4 years of not leaving the house apart from to the doctors and hospital, actually talking to someone else.
Walking football is aimed primarily at the over 50s, and it has similarities to five-a-side football. Alan joined his local team in Ramsgate, Kent, 2 years ago. They're called the Bay City Strollers, and they're managed by John McKellar.
It's difficult to get used to it at first, so almost every ball that you play has to be to feet, because if you play it too far in front, there's a temptation to run. Which is what you don't want. No slide tackling, no real contact, no barging into the side fences or anything. Minimal contact. If there is what we call over-aggressive contact, then people can be sin-binned, and that normally lasts for 2 minutes. Come back on, and that normally does a trick.
The sport was pioneered by Chesterfield Football Club 6 years ago, with the aim of helping the over 50s in the local community to get active. It had moderate success. However, in 2014, a Barclays Bank television commercial showcased the sport to British audiences, generating a sudden influx of interest. In November of that year, Steve Rich set up Walking Football United. It's an online resource which helps players find teams, and it's a place to discuss the ins and outs of the game. When the site first went online, it had 125 registered teams. 3 years later, and there are 800 clubs across the UK. The website has been a huge asset to the growth of the sport, so much so that the English FA is now using it as the basis to create a national governing body for walking football.
Firstly, you get your exercise, from great cardiovascular, improved muscle tone, balance, coordination, just a general physical well-being, and often the mental side of the benefits aren't as well documented or respected. I mean, people are coming from sort of isolated backgrounds, and they're getting back into social groups.
Transworld Sport was on hand as the Bay City Strollers took on the Canterbury Walking Football Club in a best-of-3 games encounter. Bruce Gowland plays in midfield for the Strollers.
I was advised not to play football when I was in my 30s because of injuries. But then last year I got diagnosed with advanced cancer and stuff, and I thought, well, maybe it's the last opportunity to do something I always loved to do.
Alan is normally in goal for the Strollers B team, but on this occasion he'd been called up to the A team by his manager John.
Interesting, especially when with the B team, we haven't got the best of records in the league last season. We played 12 and lost 12, and I was sort of playing them single-handedly on my own because everybody likes going upfield, but they don't like coming back and helping out.
In just a couple of years, Alan has gradually reaped the benefits from his involvement in this sport, overcoming his anxieties and confronting his depression. It's been a dramatic leap for someone who had been effectively trapped inside their home for 4 years. Alan's teammates and manager have been quick to notice the changes in him.
He's more responsive to people. He's willing to interact with people. He now takes on certain roles with us. He's been our fixture secretary. He arranges games here. He's now even gone back into the job market. He's been trying to find work, which is absolutely brilliant.
After 1 win apiece, the deciding third game on this evening finished in a 4-all draw. On a daily basis, walking football is improving the physical health of the over 50s. And with Alan Austin, they now have the perfect ambassador to showcase what the sport can do to improve a person's mental health.
I just feel alive again. Whereas before I felt dead. I don't think I'd be here now if it wasn't for walking football. That's the truth. I'm now finally seeing a light at the end of the tunnel where I didn't think was possible.